So in high school I was an agriculture student, and that meant that I would have to take on an agriculture-related project outside of class. And in my freshman and sophomore year, I raised rabbits, market rabbits, for auction. And my junior year, I decided, why not? I'll raise a sheep. Like, how bad can it be? And so this project would start in May, and it would last all throughout July, where we would sell our animals at the Orange County Fair. And so in my high school, we had this farm on campus. So during my lunch and after school, I would go over and I would meet with my sheep. In May, I received this tall, big old fluffy puffball that I affectionately named Cloud. And I was really eager to start learning how to feed him, to groom him, and then to train him. And here's one thing about sheep, training sheep. Training sheep isn't like training a dog. It's like you have to literally train this headstrong animal how to walk without like a harness or a lead. So he pretty much has to do what you say without a harness. And it is not very easy. And so training was rough. There was this time when I was walking him along our trails on our campus, and and I stood in front of him, and I took his harness off because I wanted to teach him how to walk without harness. He lifted me up from under, in between my legs, reared up, and I ended up saddled on top of his back. And so I'm riding on a sheep like this, like a horse, praying to God that I don't fall off, and he just runs back straight into his pen. And I get off, and I'm like, oh my God, I could have died. Like, I literally rode a sheep without a saddle or anything. And then that kind of discouraged me a little. It was like, okay, things might not be going well, but we'll see. Still have a month left. Came time for June, and June was the middle of everything. We went to a fair where we would show off our animals before auction. And I was like, okay, I think I'm good enough with Cloud. I think I can show him presentably and hopefully not make any mistakes. So I get Cloud, grab his head, and I'm walking in without a harness into the show ring. And I go up in front of the judges, and I get Cloud, and all of a sudden, he rears up in the middle of my performance, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no, please no. Runs off, and I'm dragged to the floor. And I'm like, oh God. So I get up, dust off, get Cloud, go back to the judges, and then walk away. I'm like, okay, please don't do this ever again. Now comes time for July, and it's time for the Orange County Fair, and it's finally auction day. And I get Cloud, and I groom him to perfection, and he's well trained at this point, so I'm like, nothing will go wrong. And I go into the auction ring with Cloud on my side, and I'm standing in there, and I hear the auctioneer calling out bids for people across the crowd. And I've done this before with rabbits, but it honestly never gets easier, because there's this big old crowd in front of you calling out bids, asking for, putting their hand up, and then the auctioneer is calling out bids, and I'm just standing there frozen with Cloud. And then I hear the gavel, sold! And then I realize, okay, that's my time to get out. So I get out, and I put Cloud back into his pen, go thank the person who bought my animal, and then run back to go see Cloud for my last time. And I go into his pen, I say my goodbyes, and hug him, and then depart to the offices to go get my paperwork. And with that paperwork, they give me this ear tag signifying my time at the Orange County Fair. And it looks just like the one he had on before I left him. And I wrote his number on the back just as a reminder of how great of a sheep he was, even though he gave me so much trouble.